Leader Post has been informing, enlightening, and entertaining Regina and southern Saskatchewan for 130 years. We are very proud of our history and connection with the community.
An eccentric lawyer-writer named Nicholas Flood Davin, who showed up in Regina one day in 1882, figured the place had some potential, so he came back and started a weekly paper. This is the fifth home that the Leader Post and the Morning Leader have had. Davin started out on what's now Victoria Avenue between Hamilton and Rose Street, and there have been three other places after that before we moved into this building. When crazy old Nicholas Flood Davin started this enterprise back in 1883, he and his staff would literally use little wooden letters and numbers. They would be set into a matrix, held together, and paper would be applied to that.
In the 1920s, the linotype machine was introduced as the new industry standard. It revolutionized typesetting, and before its invention, no newspaper in the world had more than 8 pages.
The linotype machine is a really interesting thing. It's sort of a marriage of a crock pot, a mechanical sorting machine, and a typewriter. You type on it, a letter comes down from a corresponding type magazine, and then it's cast in lead using the lead that's boiling away on the crock pot. It was a very inefficient way of putting together newspapers, magazines, and books. But until the 1970s, when the computer revolution arrived, that was all they had. Computers arrived here in 1974, and that changed everything.
From the early 1970s to 1990, staff would typeset text, but the tools of the trade were anything but high-tech. Cork cutting boards, X-Acto knives, rulers, rollers, and burning hot wax littered the layout and designers' desks. Printed pages were literally cut and pasted together on long wax-coated proofs, which came with blue grid lines showing each row and column. It was a time-consuming process which required steady hands and a solid eye. To create a full-color image on a newspaper, 4 separate colors were required: yellow, cyan, magenta, and black, and could take a composer a full day to develop. Today, plates are made by machines. The first part of the machine lasers an image onto the plate. It then enters an oven, which bakes the image onto the plate at 400 degrees. In the next step, the image is developed, cleaned, and then covered in a gum, which keeps it from getting dirty on the press. From there, the plates are bent so they can be securely attached to the press.
The Leader Post is the oldest continually operating business in the city. There have been some fabulous stories over the years and just bizarre events that have taken place. In 1922, a reporter tracked down a con artist who was operating in rural Saskatchewan. The Regina riot of 1935, a terrible plane crash that killed 37 people over Moose Jaw. Because we've been covering the news in Regina and Saskatchewan for 130 years, we've seen a lot of it. And this is a business, but it's a very special kind of business because it has a social role above and beyond just making money. We are there to serve the public, to make a better world through journalism.
As more and more readers are looking for their news and information online, Leader Post is still the one to deliver. We are reaching audiences in more ways than ever before.
We've provided that opportunity for the community to speak back to itself, to reflect on itself. We've been the recorder of births and deaths and weddings and anniversaries and everything for 130 years. That won't change. But what does change, and what is changing, is how people are actually accessing the information today. In an on-demand world, people want the news in the format they want it, when they want it, where they want to get it, and they want to be able to share it. So our whole industry is being, how do we adjust to doing all of those things and do them well? I think we're getting much better at that. And we're seeing our audiences increase again. We're seeing a lot of different kinds of engagement. We used to be the place where you got the whole story the day after. Now, if you want breaking news, we're the place to go for breaking news. Exciting time to be in our business. I don't think anybody with a crystal ball can say what we're going to have 5 years from now. But the key here now is that we need to be able to stay engaged with our customers. We need to find out how they want to access it. We need to adapt quickly, and I think that's something that we're getting much better at.
A lot goes into a day behind the scenes at the Leader Post. From reporters and photographers on site covering the news, to editors meeting to determine and upload content, to the press running and printing over 70,000 papers per hour, to over 1,000 carriers delivering the papers to people's front door.
It's just kind of my habit to get the paper first thing in the morning and grab your cup of coffee and learn about what's happening in the country or the town. I think having the actual paper itself, having it at home for the family, what I'll do is cut certain articles out or circle it for my kids or for my wife. At different times of my day I realize, hey, I don't have to have my paper with me. I have the tablet here that I can flip open and read the different things that I didn't quite have time with my coffee this morning. So it allowed me to take that Leader Post brand and take it into the next part of my day.
So as a kid growing up, my family subscribed to the Leader Post, so that's what I remember always getting those papers in the morning. And now that I'm on my own, digital is kind of the way that we've gone, and the Leader Post has stayed up to date with being able to provide me with an easy way to stay in contact with my local news. You have access to it all the time, anywhere.
It's been great being able to advertise with the Leader Post because they're such a large, well-established name. Everybody knows the Leader Post, so it's a great way for us to get out there. When they see us associated with them, it makes us look a lot bigger and more professional too. And there's so many different ways we can advertise now. We're using print, we're using ads, we're using even videos, and it's all been made quite simple just because the staff has been so easy to get along with and work with. We've already noticed a lot of people talking. A lot more people know who we are now, and a lot more people come in.
The Leader Post has been a part of my life forever, and Leader Post has evolved. We're not a newspaper anymore, we're an actual brand. Working at the Leader Post, it's exciting, hectic, crazy, calm, all rolled into one. I think the longevity of a lot of our employees speaks for itself. People aren't leaving here because they don't like it. People stay here because they enjoy their job. I know that's why I'm here. When you say Leader Post, it's synonymous with longevity and reliability, and people trust Leader Post because we have been here for that long, and we're not going anywhere. We're going for another 130 years, if not longer.
Thank you to everyone who has been involved in making the Leader Post such an integral piece of this community for the last 130 years.